Okay, so number one is from Andy. What are the Facebook Insta alternatives, or is Vero really a viable alternative? With what seems like a low current turnout of subscribers, users, and an extremely glitchy mobile app, can it really be a place worth putting in the work? Topical at the moment.
It is topical, yeah. So this comes down to the Facebook algorithm, really. It comes down to the state of play of where we're at with Facebook and Instagram as it is. So if you watch the show, if you watch the stuff, then the algorithm changed a few months back, and we've kind of been sort of seeing where the dust settles and how it's going to lie. And to be fair, it's not good, really. It for us. I mean, it's fine. The way I've always looked at it is Facebook does its thing. We're in Facebook's house. We have to advertise using Facebook's rules. I have no problems with that. Facebook was always the best way of us getting our stuff out there as creatives. That was kind of just a way that we could do it, as well as, there's Instagram and there are other social media platforms, but Facebook has always been the monster. Facebook changes algorithms because two reasons. Number one, it wants to do more social stuff amongst friends, and it wants people like us, if we are trying to market stuff, it wants us to make absolutely 100% engageable content, and on top of that, it wants some money.
Yeah.
Those are the two things, really, it comes down to. But what it's doing is that is absolutely fine for medium to large size companies, because they have got some budget to put into this, and as advertising, it's still the best alternative to advertise using direct advertising on Facebook than it is going into a magazine or into TV or radio at the moment. But for people like us as creatives, we don't have margins. We don't have budgets and cash flows and margins, really. What we do is we make music and we try and get stuff out there. Or it might not even be music, it might be other creative stuff, I make content to try and help musicians. And the Facebook algorithm is crippling at the moment.
Yeah.
But that aside, it's fine. The reason why this is such a big deal is because we have had it so good for so long. So make no bones about it, Facebook has been amazing for us, because we could never afford, when you're in a band, some of these bands, Dan Dice, who a wicked rock band, they can't afford to go advertising in Kerrang. They can't do that because they don't have those budgets. So Facebook was that alternative. It was just a really great way that they could actually compete to actually get stuff out there. The issue now is, being priced out of the market, you've got to find a new place to go. Is that Vero? At the moment, no. And what you don't want to do is one thing I'm hearing quite a lot is, I've got all of these platforms, I've got to try and make loads and loads of content, and I'm actually getting away from what it is that I want to do, which is the music and the band management and the playing and the touring and stuff. And I'm a big believer that social media should go alongside what it is you do. So, and it's the same thing with music education. Everything that you do should go around the music and the band and the product. That's the key. That's the bit that we don't talk about a lot, because it's very difficult for me to say, you've just got to be a better band. But once you've got what it is that you do and you're working on that, everything else goes around it, especially with the social media and the promotion and the marketing and that kind of stuff. Adding in more social media platforms, I mean, it is a pain in the ass, really. And if you're going to use Vero, then you have to commit to it, because this is where people are on 5, 6, 7 different platforms. Now I'm on, taking seriously, I'm on 4.
All of them, yeah.
But I'm on all of them. But I'm on 4 that I'm like, right, I've really got to concentrate on these 4. My Snapchat game's gone down at the moment. I need to probably try and resurrect that. But when you're only getting 2 or 3 new followers a week, partially because I'm not doing that much on it, whereas when it comes to Facebook, I've had 350 new followers on Facebook this week, and I'm like, it's hard to just get motivated to go on Snapchat
and to go on all of them and keep them all
because it's very, very difficult, and I don't want to be, and I don't agree with just making a piece of content and just pulling it across all of the platforms.
I agree.
It's got to work for that platform. Is Vero the one? I mean, the thing with Vero is it's not new. It's been around since 2015, but last week it had a major sort of surge in activity, and I think the main reason for that is because people are really pissed off with the algorithm. So I've got friends who are I was chatting to Ruben, who's my PT, because I want to get ripped. Yeah. And he's amazing, and he is more, because he looks like some Greek Adonis. He's on Instagram, obviously, and he's great on Instagram. And he's just saying, I've really noticed the difference with Instagram. All the algorithms have changed on Instagram as well as Facebook, and it's really, really hard. All of a sudden, it's like, you've got to get comments, and I'm like, well, you know, when it comes to Facebook, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. Also, if you only show it to 2 people, the chances are I'm not going to get 2 comments. So then, you know, I put out something last night and I'm getting 10 to 15% of what I used to get. Now I know, because I'm not trying to get money, so I'm not marketing. I'm trying to help people. So when I'm looking at what I'm doing, I'm like, oh, my stuff's not really getting out there. Then I'm having to go onto videos and say, oh, please guys, please will you just like and comment so I can trigger the algorithm? And it's like, it doesn't feel right. The whole thing is like, it feels to me like something is about to change. Yeah. So my kid is 14 years old. The way he looks at Facebook is, that's for old people. Really? Yeah, he's like, Facebook's for old people. When I say, what's the platforms that people use? He's like, YouTube is the thing. And then you've got Instagram, and to a lesser extent Snapchat. Yeah. And those are the ones people use. And then when it comes to Twitter, that's for basically just like, if you use Twitter, you're effectively about to die of old age. If you use Facebook, then it's like, that's a bit old. But again, from a consumption point of view, not only are mums and dads on Facebook, grandmas and granddads are on Facebook. So the great thing with Snapchat when it came out was, it was kind of like your own room. You could close the door and you could close your parents out because the content that you put out there vanished. Yeah. So it was kind of like a keep out. It was like, my parents, I don't have to accept them. They can't see my stuff, so I can do what I want, and it's my privacy. And that's why it kind of really took off so quick. Whereas Facebook, you put something out there, the first people are going to see it is your mum, your dad, your grandma. And even for me doing content, I'm like, well, I mustn't swear because my... It's like, you know...
You have got very good at it.
I'm getting better at it, thanks very much. But because of that, it's the same thing. You know, it's the same thing in real life. Are you going to go, when you're 18 years old, are you going to go to the pub for a drink in the same place as your mum and your dad go for a drink? On the whole, most people would say, not really. I want to go with my mates, and therefore we're going to avoid that place like the plague, and we're going to go somewhere else. And it's the same thing with social media. You want to be in a place with your mates. I think with the change of algorithm, I think that's what happened with Vero. Vero was not set up to have that much of a surge that quickly, and therefore we all kind of went on it and went, oh, this could be fantastic. And it was so glitchy that we couldn't post stuff. Yeah. And at first it was really exciting because it was like they were trying to keep up, and there was this story happening of like, you know, sort of almost up and coming Facebook killer, but just couldn't compete. Facebook killer. But it did feel like, you know, is it a flash in the pan? Is it not? I think a lot of this depends on how angry people get with the algorithm. And with the algorithm, don't forget, this is not just about marketers. This is about consumers as well. So as a consumer on Instagram, when I bring Instagram up and it says, here's a picture that you missed from 5 days ago, I'm like, I don't want to see that. That's 5 days ago. Show me some new stuff. I don't want to see this 5 days ago. That's me personally, but I'm quite happy to lose that from 5 days ago. So even from a consumer, I'm like, wow, you are algorithming us to death. You are literally squeezing the algorithm so hard that as a consumer and as, you know, a marketer, because we all use social media to be social, but pretty much all of us use social media for the same thing, which is to PR ourselves in some way. So if we can't get the message out, then what's the point of us being on there? Otherwise, you might as well just use WhatsApp. Yeah. You know, I can message people on WhatsApp. I can just put a bunch of names in and just message people and say, hey guys, how you doing? You want to go out on Saturday night? So, even people that don't have their own company, that aren't creatives, they're still going to want to say, oh, everybody, I'm doing a sponsored run, or, or a sponsored skydive, or can everyone just read this from my uncle, which is really important, or my dog is missing, or whatever it's going to be. There's still stuff that people want to put out there, and they want to get it out to the people that actually follow them. And, there's a big difference between marketers and people just saying, no, I'm not a marketer. I'm just trying to spread a message of something, and I can't do it. I think, and if that carries on, there will be another alternative. And it might get bought up by Facebook, and it might be a new thing that happens because Facebook is such a monster. But there will always be someone coming up with an alternative. And what was so positive about Vero was there was no algorithm at all. It was literally just an order. So if you post something and I post something, you go first, I go second. Simple as that.
So I was going to say, for those who don't know, could you sort of give an outlook of what Vero kind of is?
Yeah, so Vero had basically just rebelled against the system of algorithm. It basically just said, we're bored of boosts and adverts because they're popping up everywhere. All of a sudden, my Instagram was like every fifth thing was a sponsored ad, and I'm like, all right, so great. I know I don't want to buy your sausages, and then I'm like, oh look, it's Dave. Oh look, it's this. Oh look, it's that. No, I don't want to buy your shampoo. Yeah, and it was just like I was like, it's too much. It's too much. It's too much. And then same thing with Facebook. It's just everyone's turned it into this kind of marketing tool, and now we're pissed off because we can't market on it. So Vero came along and it just said, look, boosts and adverts, we don't do that. But the first 1 million people that subscribe will get it for free. After that, there will be a subscription charge of what they say is like 2 cups of coffee a year. So say, a tenner, £5, something like that, which is basically almost like Spotify. But just like the BBC, where you pay your TV license in one go, and then what you get with the BBC is no adverts. Yeah. They don't allow the adverts. So it's the same thing. Vera says, we won't do adverts, we won't do boosts, but we'll make our money from a subscription fee. So it's an interesting idea. Will it take off? I don't know. But I do think we are in a very exciting place where something is about to change. Yeah. Something is about to go. And it might not be now, it might not be for 6 months, it might not be for a year. But there always is a backlash to not letting people do something. Yeah. Someone will go and figure out a way of doing that, which is what Snapchat was. I don't want to put something, my personal feelings online, and then have my mum and dad comment on it because it's embarrassing. Boop, Snapchat pops up. So there will always be someone coming up with an alternative, and at the moment the algorithm is squeezing us to death, and we're all looking around for alternatives. So one of the questions we've got, which I'd like to change, is on the last question, is what I'm doing to combat that.
Yeah.